Greetings, friends, and welcome to Enigma Night Gaming. My name is Liara, and I will be your guide in today's adventure. Today, we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and we're playing Adventures Case 2. When we last played, Sasato Mikatoba, she really thought we were guilty of murdering our best friend, and we have been trying to prove our innocence, and we have finally gotten permission to investigate the cabin next to us where we found a vent connecting the two rooms. So let's go ahead and hop in and see if we can find anything else that will further prove we didn't do this. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Yes. Alright. Let's see, can we move? Alright, move to the first class passageway. Alright. So what did we find here? 9th of January, 7:48 a.m. SS Buria, first class cabin, passageway. Okay. Alright. Whew. I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, that guy. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he is sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Maruhado-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, see, we were stowing away and sleeping in a cabinet. I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard, and ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please don't give me that pitying look. Okay, so, let's see what we can find. Okay, so what are these? Ship protocols? That's a huge book on top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? Alright, what's in here? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhado-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably, that means there was nothing to report. She's thinking. Okay, so we checked that out. Let's see. There was a way to talk to him. I think maybe if we just double-click him. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid. Oh. We seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman, Biff Stroganoff. Really? 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 Your name is Beef Stroganoff. Okay! Alright, well then. Whew, the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Alright, first class cabin area. Mr. Stroganoff. About this first class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Boya steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens, traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow, I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? Oh boy. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Osagi's currently occupied? Is that Da? Or what? Sasada-san, did you understand that? Okay, it was Da. It sounded like Da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. It's Russian for yes. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Okay. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Alright. Who is in the next door cabin? Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Osagi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Royalot. He is a very important Western gentleman. Why is it always the Western gentleman? A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Royalot is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East islands. Really? So you say. That was harsh. Except for we seem to have a run-in of what people should and shouldn't care about. Could you tell us when Mr. Royalot came aboard? He's thinking. That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. Okay, thanks for the help, my guy. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all the time. So criminals like you cannot come in. Or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? Could you? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Niet. Suzada-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises, or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. Is this a case of guilty chicken squawking? Like he say the lady doth protest too much sort of thing? This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as English say, when the pigs fly.
Yes, I understand. Alright. So, do we get to explore more?
Good. Now we can investigate this area properly. Shall we?
Definitely. Alright. So let's keep looking. What does this say? This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look.
La Beria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering.
Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean?
Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhara-san.
It is?
Well, consider the Japanese archipelago.
The islands of Japan.
Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them.
Well, I suppose so. Okay, let's see. Let's look around. We got a door there.
That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong?
I was thinking about making a run for it, just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me.
I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead.
Probably. I love how she's just like,
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there.
no, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Alright, so let's see what we got over here. We've got this fire alarm. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it?
That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it.
Oh, an alarm.
It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop.
Oh, this I have to do.
What are you doing, Naruhara-san? You mustn't touch it.
But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. That's not the emergency she meant, my guy, and you know it.
You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring the this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation.
Huh. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included. My guy.
If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else.
Okay. Whose door is it? That's our door, right? This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. Okay, the one the ventilator connects to.
Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging.
Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Okay. Knock, knock. Who's there? No answer? Better not be Herlock Sholmes.
No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries.
How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin.
Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman.
Stand aside. Of course. I'm about to break this door down.
Mr. Sholmes.
I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. You look like you've watched too many TV shows, my guy.
Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted.
It doesn't? And how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Alright, what are we gonna see? 9th of January, Accessoria, first class cabin, number 2. Excuse me. Who are you? Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. That was what I thought too. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. Yeah, that would seem true. This old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! It looks like it came through the pipe, right? Please, excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsbury Roylott, I believe? Wait, who was his best friend? That was Kazuma, the guy with the waving headbands in the air. He's been murdered. Yes, that's me, and you are? I am the one and only, the actual Sherlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt? Yes, his first name is Sherlock. Sherlock Sholmes. No? I know, I thought the same thing. Thought. I am a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So I might be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk? Don't look at me.
Oh my! Did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now! Otherwise I'll call the steward. So, this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. Well, why is he so freaking awesome, my favorite main character? I don't know. We'll see how this case plays out. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. Yeah, Kazuma's your favorite character?
I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns.
Alright. Well, first let's examine. Why are you sitting in the cupboard, my guy? He looks like Rumpelstiltskin. What do you think you're doing?
Oh.
This is my cabin. Get out.
Could we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps?
No.
What a pity. I think we're out of luck.
I think you're right.
There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do.
I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Let's, talk to you. Why are you sitting in the cabinet? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? He looks like, oh, Rasputin? Yeah, the great English gentleman, or the Western gentleman, yeah. You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course.
Resting?
Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service.
Oh,
And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylette, is clearly trying to hide something. And you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right? Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it?
oh, yes, please.
Oh boy, time for drama. Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. How many times are you going to say great, my guy? Could this man be more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone.
That's right, and Mr. Sholmes. I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment.
Shh, I must have complete silence. Okay. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylette, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What? What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shares, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not?
Oh, Nara-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes.
That was a great deduction?
Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person.
What? What ineffable twaddle.
Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true.
I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylette's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such things you wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So, do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. Oh boy. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Old man's identity. Alright. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Royalut, obviously what catches the eye in the first place, is the enormous pair of shears in your hands. Now we ask ourselves, which could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. He's going to cut his beard. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now moving on. The question then begs is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Royalut? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Oh boy. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front-page article, which he had in his pocket, which it would appear you have read also Mr. Royalut, which I did notice that. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionaries. Okay. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before you gave it away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Okay. Conclusion, a revolutionary on the run. Alright, second topic. The wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Royalut. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see? Ah. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that's traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps. One slight enough to fit therein. Hey, Toad, welcome in. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless, I don't know how to pronounce this, coup d'eau, betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to the final to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper, where there is another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Nuvik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Okay. Kidnapping the ballet? Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Eleminsky. Okay, my guy. Sasato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing about so much about, was it?
Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes's brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow.
Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. Could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Yes, I recall our discussion earlier. And at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do.
That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina? Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You're lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you push really hard.
I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I?
Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case.
Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case.
Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
This whole thing is turning into a circus. I agree.
Mr. Naruhodo, something occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes's deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off.
Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Sasato.
There's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
Switch some key words in his deductions?
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes's great deduction.
Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? Oh, the handcuffs are gone.
Where are your handcuffs?
Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in the dance of deduction. I don't believe it.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel.
And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. No, no worry. In fact, I'd rather stay like this, really. So, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Okay. So now we're doing course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Alright. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Royal-Lot. Obviously what catches my eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport.
I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though.
It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Royal-Lot either.
Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong.
And let's try to switch a keyword here, Norado-san, and see if it helps matters.
Alright, but how?
I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Royal-Lot.
I wonder if it's really his beard he intended to use those shears on.
Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better,
then what?
Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Norado-san.
Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in the last minute. What exactly was Mr. Royal-Lot really going to use those enormous shears for? What was the old man really about to cut? Copious beard, thick hat, golden locks? Golden locks? Maybe? That makes more sense. Cut off this hair? What's this?
It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks.
No, the color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Royal-Lot's head? How is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair?
Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising.
Something's definitely not right here. Is he a girl in disguise?
Yes!
To cut away the golden locks you sport. You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman. And judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Is it the ballerina? Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Nope, I think it's the article about the ballerina, right? Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that?
Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhado-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Sorry?
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room, deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes.
I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business, not strict...
Yes, I understand. Say no more.
Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now.
No, that's true, given that Mr. Royalat is actually a woman.
Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary.
I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now.
Yes.
Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them.
For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Alright, so let's look at the article. And let's check this out. This was... this is interesting.
Have you found something relevant, Naruhado-san?
Well, no. I mean, it looks like it might be interesting.
I can't read a single word, I'm afraid.
No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it is about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think?
She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you?
I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article.
Huh.
Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the young woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, so she's stealing the crown. So she does have a crime. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles?
I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money.
Susada-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain.
Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country?
It does seem to be the Russian thing to do.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright, the article about the ballerina. Let's add that. Alright, so let's present the article about the ballerina. The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah. Uh-oh. The gig is up, guys. Oh boy. She's gonna reveal herself.
You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone.
The old man's identity is a ballerina on the run. Alright, the wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well.
No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Narado-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
Stop it! Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Okay, what did she glance at as evidence of her crimes? Well, what is in this box? There's a note right here. What does this note say? Is that something? She's got books here. She's got, it's the tiara. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara. I knew that was her crime.
I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruto-san, try it on.
What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful.
Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently. Yeah, in the article. Alright, so let's
Yes!
present that tiara. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara.
Ah,
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. She stole it, and if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft.
oh no.
Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. She's like, my life is ruined. Why did you scream? Did you find a rat in your case? Is that what happened? I wonder.
I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me.
This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. She has no words.
All right, I I will tell you everything. There is no point in hiding it now.
Come, let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I have ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. I don't think so. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now.
I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all of this? It's just a wild guess, surely.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yes, that's true, but still, Mr. Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree. That's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Alright, so why won't she open her case? There's a small picture. What is the small picture?
This is a charming little picture, isn't it?
What is it? Someone climbing a steep mountainside?
Or descending one, seems to me.
When you've been on the flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. Okay, what else do we got? Rules of passage? What does this say?
These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
It's a pet. Okay. There was exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. I wonder what happens if you break the rule.
Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhado-san. You'd probably be left to drift in the freezing cold ocean, or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end.
So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Alright, I think that's it, because she has a pet in her bag. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. It's a pet! As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. Yep. What is it? A little tiny dog of some sort? Possession of a prohibited animal. Okay. This is so cool. It's a very unique gameplay. It's so different from Case 1's gameplay. So clearly, you aren't who you said you were.
No, I am not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could you really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet, to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me.
I was scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. And that's why I decided to, how do you say, disguise myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man. I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. And then just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. She's like on the edge of her seat.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing?
There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew...
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you, but in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night.
Yes, all right. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Norodo, wasn't it something, Mr. Sholmes's great deduction?
It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. Are they locked again?
Your hands are cupped again.
What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why?
There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruto. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can't it? Really?
Anyway, Let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was.
Is it her pet? Alright, I guess let's talk to her. What happened last night? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh.
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything usual last night?
Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking.
Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us?
She's thinking.
I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh, I see. Okay. Running away. Let's see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Nobovich Ballet?
Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life.
You wish to forget a challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Nobovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself. Yes, and the crew of this ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin.
If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Norohiro?
Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... Alright, what is the conundrum? Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. Okay. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. Okay. However, the SS Beria stopped by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? She's thinking.
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. She's got a secret?
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Sorry, what was that?
It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel.
Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid.
Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descends from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. Alright, now the pet. So, the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right?
I didn't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell. Don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious...
Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes.
But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it?
It's going to be a snake, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there, then? You may as well ask. I have no idea. Huh. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken.
Really?
Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So, you eat your friends. I'll remember that. It's not a chicken either. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. My guy, she obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. What do we have? Do we have something? Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Alright, do we have something? Let's see what we have. A paper seal, oh, does she know what this means? Kazuma's diary. Oh, let's show her this about the speckled band. This is the diary of my friend who passed away.
His diary?
Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Does she have a poisonous snake as a pet? Did it bite him and that's how he died?
A speckled band? I don't understand.
It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall.
In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps?
She's like really nervous.
No. I don't know anything.
Oh. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Alright. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott.
Yes, what?
Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please.
Alright,
I will come now. Are we gonna be left alone? What?
You must leave, now.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't mind us.
Yes, please, don't worry yourself, Mr. Rolat.
Get out. The passenger said out. Or you want me to throw you out. Ugh, it looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. He looks like he's about to burst and have an aneurysm.
What a pity.
Alright, so that's my theory, is that she has a snake, a poisonous snake. What would the whistling sound be? Would that maybe be something related to the snake in question? And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Oh boy, to be continued. Well, that is epic. Okay, so theories. Right now, I am thinking that her pet is a poisonous snake. Because there are poisonous snakes that have rings around their neck. Um, the whistling sound, I'm not sure about. Um, but it would make a lot of sense if somehow the snake crawled through, and Kazuma got bit by the snake, and then he was putting wardrobe so that the Russians would check the wardrobe to let us out so we didn't just die in the wardrobe, right? Like that was his dying breath, right? I mean, it makes sense to me. We will find out uh, if what happens as we continue to investigate this. So, if you like this kind of content, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you want to watch live, we're on Twitch at twitch.tv/Liara27. I have my schedule posted in the about and in the description, and I post which games I'll be playing on twitter.com/Liara27. And I hope you'll join me in the next one. Until then, guys, bye.